All right. Hello, hello, everyone. I'm so thrilled to see all of your beautiful faces, and I thank you for taking the time to come on and create this community with all of us. My name is Erin Fugate, and I'm one of the founding members of the Visionary Leaders team. To give you a little backstory on who we are and why we're here, 12 years ago, I found out about doTERRA essential oils and started to collect some amazing people in my life, like Aisha Harley, Josie Schmidt, Ariana Harley, and many others. And we started to learn about essential oils. A few of us had some pretty serious health conditions that we were able to completely turn around with essential oils. If you don't know Aisha's story with Lyme disease, you got to listen to it. If you don't know my story with depression and anxiety, you got to listen to it. And then the hundreds of other stories we have in our community of essential oils absolutely transforming our lives. With what is going on in our world right now with this pandemic, we came together a few days ago and we said, we need people to know that these essential oils have the ability to not only protect us, but they have the ability to transform our experience if we were to get this particular virus. However, what we also realized is that many people using essential oils do not know their full power because it's something that we don't talk about very often. And we wanted to get together on this telephone call to tell you what essential oils truly can do. So you are going to hear from some of the practitioners on our team with their experience, their scientific knowledge, and what they're finding on the field right now, how to use these oils to help with this particular pandemic. What I want to help express to you before we jump into that is very simple terms what essential oils can do when you're dealing with a virus that you may not realize they can do. And we want you to have this base understanding as we run into this call. Start by thinking of what happens, before we had COVID and you went to the doctor with a flu. They don't give you a medication, do they? And the reason they don't give you a medication is there isn't a medication that can eradicate a virus because of the way a virus is encased within our cells. So they say, go home, rest, drink a lot of water. Well, essential oils, specifically essential oils like Melissa and thyme and many others, they have this incredible ability to penetrate the cell wall, go into the cell where the virus is living, and they can eradicate that virus, and they can also stop the cell-to-cell communication. This may not be common knowledge to you, and you might not know that this is possible unless you have dug into research and read research papers. But on this call, we want you to know that essential oils are one of the most powerful tools we could be using at this time because of their ability to get into your cells, eradicate the virus, and stop the cell-to-cell communication. You're going to hear a lot more about that, but I just wanted to make sure that we all have a base understanding of their power. Plus, on an emotional level, they can take our anxiety levels down. They can uplift our mood. They can rewrite neural pathways in our brains if we get stuck in an anxiety track, and we're going to teach you how to do that as well. They also are a way to disinfect our environment. They're antimicrobial, they're antibacterial. When you wipe down your counters with On Guard or DDR, you are killing anything left on those surfaces. We need you to understand that during these times. Then ingesting essential oils like citrus oils, you're helping your body produce glutathione, and glutathione is the natural antioxidant that your body needs to fight off these threats and to keep yourself healthy. So that's just 3 things essential oils can do. If you can, write that down because I want you to remember it. They eradicate viruses. They protect the cells. They can disinfect your environment, countertops, and air, and they can support your emotions. You're going to learn so much in this call. It is possible you'll get overwhelmed. We want to warn you about that. That's one of the reasons we're going to have the call twice a week while we're all on lockdown for the unforeseeable future. Each call will have different content and will really be led by your questions and your needs and what your loved ones are experiencing. We'll be gathering all the resources that we have on the call, and we'll be housing them on essentialwellness.life and hellovisionary.life. So know you can go after the call and find that research. These calls aren't recorded so that we can be free with our speech. But if you're listening to the call, you then have a responsibility to go and share that information with your neighbor. If you don't yet have doTERRA essential oils in your life, please talk to the person who invited you to this call, and they'll help you get them at wholesale prices. So the agenda for the call is we are going to start with a very short, beautiful grounding, breathing exercise to help you take down any anxiety or stress you might be feeling. We'll have a chunky, fun Q&A session with our practitioners, Dr. Josie and Dr. Dana. Then we will show you how to do some practical essential oil usage, and we will end the call with some laughs, sharing some essential oil bloopers with you so you can know what to avoid and what to do if you have something funny happen. So sit back, relax, take notes, and be ready to put your questions through in just a moment. For now, we're going to hear from Ariana Harley, and she will be showing us how to use essential oils and breathing to ground and reduce stress and anxiety. So take it away, Ariana.
Real quick, just a little tech note. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody one more time, and then Ariana, unmute yourself just to keep good sound. Okay.
I'm Brooke.
Okay. Hopefully everyone's muted. If not, please mute yourself, and I'll do my best to keep everyone muted. Go ahead, Ariana.
All right, everyone. So happy to see you. Please join me in putting both feet on the floor, one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. This will automatically start to comfort you. And I just want to remind you that not only do these essential oils are they amazing antivirals, but they are amazing for stress and mood management. So please use your oils if you're feeling scared, anxious, angry, all the emotions that come up when we are when we're in a crisis, right? When we're dealing with very hard things. So with both feet on the floor, go ahead and close your eyes. And imagine that you have roots on the bottom of your feet. And those roots, you're just going to drain out any stress, any worry, any tension, any fear, any sickness. And you're just going to feed that to Mama Earth for lunch because she loves to eat all that stuff up. She just eats it up and transmutes it. So just go ahead and give that away. Down, down, down. And then I want you to breathe through your nose so your mouth is closed. And you're going to do a long inhale. So you could count to 10 just slowly. It's long, it's slow, deep inhale. And when that beautiful breath fills your lungs up, you're going to hold that for 10 seconds. And just let that oxygen disperse through your body. Notice if you're holding it in your throat, in your upper lungs, and if you are, see if you can bring that down to your belly, to your fingers, to your toes, and just bathe your body in that beautiful oxygen. And then a very slow exhale through the nose on the count of 10, just releasing, relaxing and releasing the breath out through your nose. And you can come back to this breath anytime you feel scared, anytime you need to ground, to reset, and to connect. And then I want to spend the rest of my time, if we could mute and then remute because I'm getting an echo. So let's just do that one more time. Thank you. And then I would like you to open up your eyes. And I want to teach you one trick that's really amazing if you don't know about it. I grabbed a bottle of Breathe, but you can use many different oils. And if you drop 1 drop of breathe, I got 2 because sometimes that happens, rub your hands together and make a funnel so you have space in between your fingers. See that? You want to do that. Put it over your palm, and then you can choose to breathe. I'm going to start coughing because it makes me cough. Right into the lungs. Wow-wee. If you are trying this, that is an experience. You feel expansion, you feel openness. All those beautiful essential oil molecules are going right into the lungs and clearing, opening. You can take this and do it by the nose, so you're putting it right over your nose. Deep, deep inhale, and that's going to clear the sinuses. You can feel that coming right into the brain. It's helping clear the mind. It's helping to be in the moment. This has got peppermint oil in it. Breathe. Great for trauma, great for fear, great for grounding and getting the brain back into the here and now. And then you can do both the mouth and the nose. And that's just going to help you breathe. So use this in times of anxiety, use this in times of any respiratory distress, sinus congestion. So I just wanted to share that really easy, simple, but powerful technique that we can use with our oils. You can also use that with Adaptive as another great choice if you're feeling stressed out. And then of course we know that other oils are wonderful too. So thanks for breathing with me. And I'm really looking forward to connecting weekly with everyone. So much love.
Thank you, Ariana. Thank you, Ariana. Such a wonderful tool to have in times of anxiety and stress and feeling ungrounded. So we appreciate you sharing that with us. We're welcoming more and more people on the call. So hello, hello, as you come in, please chat through, tell us where you're tuning in from. We've just started the call. We just did a breathing exercise with Ariana Harley to get grounded and centered and let go of any stress or anxiety. And now we are headed into our Q&A session with Dr. Josie Schmidt, naturopathic physician, and Dana Schwartz, Doctor of Chinese Medicine. So do we have Dana? I see Josie. I want to make sure we have you both.
I'm here.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
All right. So these two women are incredible healers. They have a very long history in each of their practices with using essential oils. Dana specifically using herbs, and Josie has a lot of background with supplementation. They're essential oil educators with doTERRA, and they've dedicated their lives to helping people be healthy and transform their health. Both Dr. Josie and Dana are actively every day researching the COVID virus, finding out what protocols help to avoid getting it and what protocols help during treatment of it. So this next section is a blessing of an opportunity to get to ask your questions about using essential oils and other practices of health. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Josie and Dana.
Thank you, Erin. Dana?
I'm here. I'm just trying to find you. Go ahead, Josie.
I
you hear
know.
me?
Yeah. Welcome, everyone. We, something changed in my screen. I'm viewing Penny's screen now. Is that true for everyone?
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened.
I'm not sure either. I'm working on it. So just proceed and I'll see if I can fix it.
If we make noise, our picture is the one that comes up. So we need to all mute, and that way we
Yeah,
won't
let me
disturb
do,
the view.
hold on. If everyone could please self-mute. I do have it on group mute, but a lot of people are entering. And
then if somebody else's picture shows up, just double click on Josie and she'll be the big picture.
yeah, Josie, go ahead and talk and see if you hop on.
Okay. let me double click on me. I don't know. Well, so one of the things we have a lot of information and wisdom and pearls we'd love to impart, but we also really wanted to flow with questions and open with a Q&A. Know that we're coming back on Friday. We have these resource sections that are going to be on our websites that we are going to be populating and filling with the information that we go over, and anything that we refer to, we'll then have it there. One of the things before we get started with questions from people is I wanted to just give a basic understanding that this is so exciting in this coming together right now for all of us, and that we have all levels here. People who are new to essential oils, people who only use them a little bit, and people who've been using them a lot and all the time. And so right now, in these unprecedented times, we're excited in this live call that we do get to talk more openly. We're not going to be posting any of this online. And if you are newer to oils, one of the things that you realize that we do in the beginning is we just present people with a few options, right? We sort of say, here's a really great way to start with about 10 oils, get to know them, and then we'll move on. We're not going to do that right now. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. And so we're going to let people know about basic ways to get started and to really just get going using your oils. But if questions come up about science and about more complex stuff and it feels overwhelming, just kind of let it flow over and know that we're talking to many different levels at once now. And I love the adage, there's many ways to skin a cat, in the sense of that's what oils and natural medicine is like. If there are 10 people in the room, you could have 10 different recipes for a cough formula. Okay, so know that we start off usually telling people about some simple things and say, this is for this and this, but that there's a lot of different options, and you might hear about that during the call. And to kind of let people know that as we talk about things.
Leslie, I think your phone is, or your thing is unmuted, and also Carrie Cash, just to try to help with the sound. If you could mute yourself.
I did push mute.
Hold on, I'll do another mute all. So Josie and Dana, you'll need to unmute.
Okay. All right. So for questions, we're having people, do you click on the chat, and over in the chat window, maybe we could have Aisha or Erin read out questions to Dana and I, and we could start working with that. How does that sound?
Yeah, Aisha, I'll read the questions, but also if someone can't maneuver the chat because you're on the phone.
That's great. I'm working the admin, so if you can do questions, that'd be awesome.
So
right.
Josie and Dana, the first question is, what's a daily protocol to be using during this time? So I assume they're wanting a prevention protocol. And yes, another person is asking that. What's a basic prevention protocol?
So I can talk a little bit about that, but know that we've gone over some of this information. And so on the resource page, we already have 2 really great calls that we did. And one was with Aisha Harley and myself and they're about half an hour, each of these calls that are recorded. And we can post, we have some memes about both of these. We called it the peace of mind protocol. So that's kind of a general keeping safe and keeping peace of mind, right? Prevention. And then we called it you're in it. So you're in it as you're starting to come down with symptoms. And so that is under the call that Aisha and I did. And we went over a formula that we loved we call Fluma, and that it is for making your own roller for hands, not necessarily hand sanitizer, but a formula in a roller that we use. Even it's more aggressive than a hand sanitizer that you're constantly being able to put on your throat and your hands. And they're also oils that then you would be able to use like a Symphony of the Cells rolling them up the spine, applying them to the spine with some carrier oil in one after the other. And they're also, except for the A, so I'll go over what's in Flume, but the Flume oils, you could be also putting in a gel cap and taking that internally. And so those oils we recommended are, F stands for frankincense, L stands for lemongrass, O stands for On Guard, or I'm going to say, and oregano. So it's 2 O's, Fluma. So it's oregano, On Guard. M is for melaleuca, which is tea tree. And A is arbor vitae. So you take the A out because that's not an internal use oil, but the rest of these 4 are internal use oils. And then what I pointed out in the call is that if you look at those 4 oils, frankincense, lemongrass, oregano, On Guard, and melaleuca, those 5. Let's go over what's in DDR formula. So there's a DDR blend, which is a blend that we've been highly recommending. And in DDR is frankincense, lemongrass. We don't have oregano, but we have thyme, which is actually even they're very similar, oregano and thyme. And we've also said that we even think thyme might be a little bit better right now than oregano, but they're both really good. On Guard. One of the ingredients in On Guard is clove. So clove is in, and that is the major constituent we really want to be looking at, which is eugenol in the clove and the thymol in the thyme. And then we don't have melaleuca, but we have a type of melaleuca called neoli that is in frankincense. And you also have litsea and summer savory, which are also very antimicrobial, and tangerine. So in the basic protocols, we know that a lot of people don't have all those oils. And so that's why we are recommending, if you're going to start with something, start with DDR. And DDR is an incredible antiviral blend, and it's covering so many bases. So we've been suggesting DDR, and then it's always wonderful to also have On Guard and Breathe. So those 3 oils, and we will put those protocols for everyone, because we're going to go over a lot of information. So then the kind of follow up for people to really get them, and we have great pictures and memes about those protocols, will be on the resource page. Dana, you want to chime in on some other stuff?
So other things that they did go over on that call would be doing some regular Symphony of the Cell protocols. So there are a couple of different ones that we're recommending. One would be the respiratory protocol, and another one of those would be the infectious disease, which is called ID protocol. So those 2, if you haven't learned Symphony of the Cells, and this is the first time you're ever hearing it, it's a very simple process that can be done, honestly, 5 to 10 minutes. You can elongate it if you want, but it can be done very quickly. And it's a layering of the oils on the spine with a nice deep breath of each oil, and then a swipe on each of the feet. So it's this really great topical application. It's actually using quite a lot of oils, and sometimes some of the oils we may not have yet. And I'm going to tell you to still do it with the ones that you have. Super powerful. And Josie did a video. I see a question coming in. Can you do it if you're alone? Yes, Josie did a really great walkthrough video of exactly how you can almost get every area on your own. So go find that video. We want to take the time here. We have time together here. So go find that video and watch that. But it's pretty simple to just apply, reach on your back, and then apply on your feet. Other things that we were talking about, and I did hear other people speaking about this too, is copaiba. Copaiba is a fantastic oil to be working with now. And, somebody asked, can you give us a protocol? So this protocol that we're giving, this is like now, this is before we get sick. If we do get sick, we hope none of us do, but the numbers are predicting many will at some point in the next year, right? So one of the other things that we can do in that preventative way, of course, is take our lifelong vitality. Right? That's a really important piece of a daily recommendation of just giving ourselves those nutrients. Other things that people are really speaking about are vitamin C, vitamin D, and vitamin A. And right now, we're a little hesitant to give you exactly where or when because some things are on back order, but just check in with, any of the people that are guiding you, and we will get some of that information down the chain. Because I know that when we look online, we're not really seeing things. And we also don't want to recommend poor quality things. So quality does matter when you're doing supplements. Most of you know that because you're here with doTERRA, that we have such good quality, but these extra things. Another one that you could be taking is our new beauty complex, the Yaropum Beauty Complex. This is another part that can be in your preventative pocket of tools. Now remember, we're giving you lots of options, right? So I don't need you to go and take everything in, although I'm using a lot of the things. What other things, Josie, did we talk about in preventative yesterday?
So one thing to really realize is there's like 5 different stages or things that we could talk about. And so a lot of the times in the flume and then the peace of mind, like the prevention, right? That's what we're talking about now. Staying safe. You have to still go out to the grocery store, many of us, like that kind of thing. And over time, when things loosen up, if you haven't been sick, like that maintenance of our health. And really, it comes down to what we've always talked about. My gosh, big light bulb. One of the things, so I have this wonderful recording that I've been listening to over and over again by a very, very wonderful and renowned immunologist. And it was wonderful to hear her say this. She said, our first line of defense with our T cells, our natural killer cells in our T-line T cells and our Th1, that response, natural killer and the Th1 T cell response, that's that first line of what we need to keep healthy. And the thing that is going to make that the most active, our T regulation cells, and make them the most healthy is a healthy gut. It's that simple. Up to 70 to 90% of our immune system is actually in our gut, in our digestive system. It's contained there. So keeping this in mind, the practices that we speak about before this all came about are even more important than they were before. And so the LLV is that whole baseline of defense of helping you to keep your healthy GI tract, plus good probiotic, definitely working with I love the Zendocrine Complex line. And so why is that important? One of the things, so what Zendocrine Complex is, there is a gel cap, there's an oil blend, and then there's the oil blend in the soft gel cap, and then there's a Zendocrine Complex. I know it's a little confusing. The complex is herbs, like not oils, but actual herbs in a gel, in a capsule. And then there's the oil blend in a soft gel, and then there's the oil blend itself. There's 3 products of Zendocrine. And all of them are pertinent because what they do is they help all of our pathways of elimination. And this is very important right now. So they help support our kidneys, our liver, our bowels, and our lungs, and our skin and our lungs. All of those are pathways of elimination. And from Chinese medicine, we'll probably go into this more on Friday, what we're seeing we have direct line of doctors who've been on the front lines in Wuhan treating, and those are the teachers of some of our teachers here in Portland, and so we've been kind of talking with those and been hearing about what's working, what's not working, what are the formulas, and what's going on. And what they are saying is incredibly important, is to keep the bowels moving, to keep those pathways, to keep the gut strong, because that's where the initial virus, if we're out at the grocery store, if we get, exposed, most of us have been exposed. A lot of us have been fighting it off because we already have strong immune systems. That's that first line of defense. And they are saying very strongly that you want to keep that moving. So suggesting to be using the Zendocrine soft gel and the Zendocrine complex, 2 Zendocrine complex and 1 soft gel before bed as a minimum. and then potentially working with GX Assist on and off. Well, I'm going to talk about that more later because that gets a little more complex. But working with Digest Zen oil, Zendicrine oil on your belly, on the bottoms of your feet, these kind of things. The more we can be eliminating as our body is fighting off this, then it won't get stuck and then move into a deeper state. So that's a really important thing to realize before now I then go into kind of that basic idea of taking a DDR twice a day in prevention mode, right? AM and PM. And guess what? So many of us were already doing that before this pandemic situation because we were doing it for healthy cells. And now I can say it, we were doing it for anti-cancer. Cancer happens, it just happens. It's actually not a natural, but it's a metabolic process that happens in our bodies, especially as we age. And most of the time, similarly, we are clearing and cleaning out those cells. But as we age, we need more support, just like our immune system needs more support. We need support in getting and repairing damaged cells and getting them out of the body. That's what DDR stands for: DNA, damage, and repair. DNA getting damaged and unable to repair itself.
Must like live their lives sitting around putting oils on themselves.
Sorry, someone got unmuted. I think it's Ruth.
Oh.
Josie, please unmute.
Great, thanks. So that's a message. It's so exciting because usually they talk about like, well, there's this side effect of this drug and the side effect of this drug. And here's the thing. The thing I love the most about oils is that they have side benefits. So the side benefit of taking a DDR twice a day, and if you don't end up needing it, you never get sick, or it helped you to not get sick. There's this other side benefit of like, oh yeah, it's also helping you to have very healthy cells and not have your body go into a state that it doesn't want to go into because it wasn't healthy enough, which is what cancer basically becomes. That is the kind of cancers that happen as we age. Let's put it that way. There's many types of cancers, but that general one that happens as the general types. So DDR, taking one twice a day, using your oils the way you've been, we're going to teach you how to be using them daily. I think everyone should be using different oils in teas during the day. To keep all of our passageways moist. That is a thing, and drinking lots of water. And so basically we have one of Will Wan, who's one of the Chinese medicine doctors.
Josie, so sorry. Hold on one second. Everything you're talking about is so awesome, but we have some questions about, is this safe for elderly? Is this safe?
And I have a list of questions.
Okay, I'll go into the tea later. Yeah.
I've got a big list of questions. So
right.
yes, thank you for saying that, Tiffin. And as soon as we can
go into some questions.
And yeah, it would be great if we could hit the questions quickly.
Okay.
Answers. And then when we have time, we can talk about some other stuff. So the four main questions that we have right now are: what oils are going to be good for the respiratory system? What oils would we use on a child? What oils are safe in pregnancy and nursing? And what oils would we use for the older population? And if any of those things get changed.
So usually the rule of thumb for older population and for younger population is same oils, you just dilute more. So you dilute oils, the effect. So one of the things is, I used to have an adage called SFDD, small, frequent, daily doses. So it's less, oils are not that, they're not more powerful if you use more drops in a single dose. That's actually not a good thing to do. They're more powerful and they help us better if we use them more consistently. So let me go back to, and we'll talk about this, we can talk about this in a lot of different ways, is if you are in prevention, we're talking about AM and PM twice a day, doing these kind of daily practices. So you would be doing, yes, is DDR, taking one capsule, that is that is for the elderly. I don't, to take 1 capsule twice a day. They don't have an end date. Like if you're 80, don't take that. I don't know. So you would always start with any kind of thing that's new, slow and steady. So even though we're in a thing, you start with 1 of whatever we're talking about and see how that goes for that person. And then you can move it up in intensity. For young kids, right, you just dilute more. So maybe we can have that, Erin, right, in the reference, we can have kind of dilution charts. So that means adding more of a carrier oil. We use fractionated coconut oil most of the time, but you can use, whatever you have. When the use of oils differs according to if you're sick or not sick, so what the situation is. So if you're talking about just prevention and health, usually once a day, twice a day are kind of things we see in terms of suggestions. If you feel like you're starting to come down with something, so I'm just going to talk about any old virus, like, right? This is how we would say it normally. And we want to try and knock it out, not get sick. Our bodies have the ability to, with our digestive system, with our immune system, to not get sick, right? To knock this thing out. We want to help that. So at the first sign, if you think you've been really exposed or you start to feel, usually you're going to feel, it depends on the bodies, a little tickle in the throat. You might energetically feel some heaviness, congestion, kind of squeezing in your chest area. You might feel off in your GI, in your pooping, or just funky, like a pit feeling in your stomach and not that hungry. Those all could be signs that your body's fighting something off. And sometimes it's just a little bit of a cough, a little bit of a tickle, sore throat, or just feeling tired, those kind of things, right? That's when you want to hit it hard for like a day or 2. And when we say hit it hard, you could be taking a half a drop or 1 drop of an oil every 20 minutes for a while through that day. So if you're new to oils, you probably want to do it about every half an hour for a couple hours, about 4 hours. Give yourself like every 20 minutes. So that would be 3 doses an hour for 2 to 3 hours, and then give it a little rest, see how you're doing, right? And then pulse, then start up again. For children, their immune systems are much stronger. They react much quicker, and they don't need as much. So we could be talking about a half a drop in a little bit of applesauce or in a drop of honey, right? With kids, who has kids, like what are the best ways that we see people with children taking the oils, but still that idea of like half a drop every half an hour for a couple hours. That frequency is what's really important. If we're adults and
Josie, can you talk about how you get a half a drop out?
Yeah. So I kind of, this isn't exact science here with the drops.
Right, I swipe it, exactly. That's what Erin's saying. She swipes it. And
you just got to swipe it with your index finger?
Yep. That's the way I do it. So it's like, these are our oils.
Sometimes when you go around here, there's a lot of residue that's kind of left in here. So you can do, so watch, I'm going to do that. Oh yeah. So basically if your finger, or the other way that I've done is I hold the oil and you better believe this is Melissa. Yeah. I hold the oil up to my thumb. I go like that. And then what's kind of left on my thumb, you guys can see? It's just a little green. It's like, or my finger is kind of like covered. You suck it.
Josie, can I just speak to children for a second?
Yes, please go, Erin.
So I have a 2.5-year-old, and when she was 18 months old, she came down with something that possibly could have been measles. I don't know what it was. So I did the infectious disease protocol on her. And I just want to share how you do that with a child. So 18 months old, right? I used all the oils in the infectious disease protocol, but I put fractionated coconut oil in my hand first. So made a nice pool of dilution. Then I swiped the side of the bottle and mixed that in the fractionated coconut oil. If it was something like frankincense, I did frankincense neat.
How much coconut oil did you use, Erin?
Just like a drop of coconut oil, probably was half a teaspoon.
To one swipe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So and the only thing you're really looking at is sensitivity to the skin, because those thyme and oregano oils can be spicy. So that's why I'm diluting. Then when she's sick, I will swipe a bottle of lemon or tangerine, like we're saying, and I have little tiny oil on my finger, and I swab that to her cheek. Getting the lemon or the tangerine oil into the kid's system, remember, increases glutathione, so it helps their body's natural healing process start. Now that she's 2.5 years old, she asks for DDR Prime. She takes the bottle, puts her finger on the top, swipes it, sucks her finger, and she goes, it's kind of gingery, Mommy.
Oh.
And she asks for it every single day. Don't be afraid to let your kids find their way with the oils. And I just wanted to give you that testimony. I'm pregnant with my second. I take oils right now. She'll get oils the moment she's born. And the kids love it. Yes, Susanna, swipe the inside of the cheek. The lemon oil, just put it on the inside of the cheek. It doesn't taste bad to them. She'll take On Guard beadlets and peppermint beadlets as well. What's important is just introducing it to them, not forcing it on them, helping them find a way. That's why the roller bottles are so great, because you can say, these are your oils, the kids' collection roller bottles, and they'll start to reach for what they want. So I just wanted to share that to make sure all the mamas out there feel safe and comfortable using them with their kids.
Address pregnancy as well, Erin?
Oh, I wanted to jump in on the kids' oils real quick, because I think the stronger blend, we can only get one On Guard per count, or in our starter kits, right? And I think the stronger blend, great for kids, great for elderly, also for all of us through the process, through prevention, even when you're sick, because it has rose, cedarwood, litsea, what's the other one? I'm trying to remember. Frankincense. Yeah, and frankincense. So these are really, really good oils for the respiratory system, for the immune system. So this is, I have a few people who are in the battle right now, and this has been really helpful after a lot of breathe, right? Because breathe is strong and it's helpful, but a couple days in, maybe you want to rotate something else in. And the stronger blend is gentle and powerful. Rose on its own, an amazing oil I think we could all have in our repertoire. The Rose Touch I love because of course it's more affordable, but then we can also put it on our lymph nodes. Rolling it right here is a really powerful place. So I wanted to make mention that some of those other oils, and we're talking about the swipe method, and then I'll pass it back to you, Josie, but the Melissa, yes, it's one of our most expensive oils, but it's an antiviral oil. It's really powerful. We have other antivirals, cinnamon, of course, and clove. They're in the oregano, even has a little bit, but this Melissa is really powerful, and I find it a very strong oil in itself. So swiping it is the way I do it. I was traveling in Europe right before the virus exploded, and I was just traveling around in the train, swiping the top of my oil. So I would rotate and swipe Melissa, cinnamon, clove, and because it's a nice way to get what Josie's talking about, those little micro doses all day long, so that you can continue with your protocols and you can just with ease do that. Okay, Josie, what were you going to say? I know you're holding that thought. I hope you are.
So Erin, I wanted Erin to talk about pregnancy. People had asked.
Oh, great. Yes, thank you.
Yes. Okay, so this is the real talk on the pregnancy thing. Number one, a pregnant mama needs to do her own research and she needs to come to her own decision. So if you're trying to help someone who's pregnant and you're telling them you can use these oils, it's no problem. You just have to understand that her one job in the world is to protect her baby. And so she's got to come to that own decision on her own. I know this process, I went through it myself. This is what we know about essential oils and pregnancy. There's no research on essential oils and pregnancy because it's considered unethical to test a pregnant woman and her baby. That said, we have thousands of pregnant women, women with 5+ children in doTERRA, and they swear by the essential oils in pregnancy. They can actually see the difference between their pre-doTERRA babies and their post-doTERRA babies. What becomes extremely important in pregnancy is you do not want to use essential oils that are adulterated or imbalanced in their chemical constituents. So this is why doTERRA only. I would never recommend that a pregnant woman use an essential oil that was not pure like doTERRA. Pregnancy is also a time that the mom's body is going to tell her what's right and what's not right. An example of that is in first trimester, my body says no to almost every single oil. Just doesn't like the smell, it doesn't want it. Then as the trimesters change, my body starts to say, oh, you can use that oil, you can use that oil, you can use that oil. So we have to teach our mamas that as well. When you take an essential oil internally, it is less than 1% that gets into the placenta area. And when you nurse, same thing, it's less than 1% that gets through the milk. So you just have to watch your baby's reaction. An example to this is my baby, if I take On Guard when I'm nursing, she gets a little rash. So I avoid On Guard, and that's what's so great about the oils is I can switch to Copaiba and Rose instead. There really are only 3 essential oils that I completely avoid in pregnancy. You're going to want to write this down. Clary sage, jasmine, 4. Jasmine, rose, and thyme. Now, if any of those oils are in a blend, you can use the blend. But taking pure clary sage and rubbing that over my belly or my ankles, I'm not going to do that because it does have the ability to help contractions start. Now, you won't throw your body into contractions if you're not already ready to go into labor, but we just want to avoid that oil. Same time can have an effect on the hormones as well as jasmine and rose. So I avoid those oils in pregnancy. I avoid taking the Yaropalm capsules in pregnancy. I'll try and do something other than DDR Prime in pregnancy, although I'll do it if I have to. Personally, I'm pregnant right now. Melissa is my daily preventative. I do a drop under my tongue 1 to 3 times a day. I do the infectious disease protocol, no problem on my spine. I will take On Guard and I will take DDR Prime if I have to, but I'm going to try and do it with the other oils first. So I hope that answers the mama questions. If you want more resources, we'll put it on the website, but Stephanie Fritz, the Essential Midwife, is my go-to resource. She is excellent. She has a website and a Facebook group and a Facebook page, and she's on Instagram, and you can get a lot of information from her. But yes, mama, use your oils in pregnancy. It's a lot better than using Tylenol or NyQuil.
I just wanted to jump on too with 2 little tidbits. My daughter's 16, but the oils are too strong for her to take orally. She just doesn't like that. So one great thing is the On Guard beadlets. She can swallow if children or even adults can't swallow pills. That's a much smaller amount of oil to try. And then the other thing I wanted to say is spearmint is really nice, diluted as a chest rub and isn't as intense as Breathe or peppermint, and it helps move phlegm in the lungs and in the body, which we want to be doing right now. So that's just a softer blend for children. You can also put it in diffusers and on the bottoms of the feet for respiratory.
Okay, your next question, Dana and Josie, is some people would really like to understand why Correct-X in the nose is such a great prevention.
Well, maybe you could answer that, Erin, because we got that from you, or maybe Josie's great at that. I'll pass.
I got it from Josie.
Oh, you did? Okay.
It's Josie's original thing.
So before I came up with Correct-X, one of my things, I was flying a lot, and it's a barrier method. That's what it is. So look, the viruses, they have to get in through our holes, right? And so mostly it's the eyes and the mouth and the nose and the breathing in. And so if you can line your nostrils with something that is, it has antimicrobial and antiviral properties, as you're breathing the air, it's just not going to absorb into that mucous membranes, which is how the viruses get into our bodies. So and it's gonna, yeah. So what I did before I kind of started using with CorrectX is I actually got that, they have some petroleum jellies that are like, I don't know what they're made of. They're not petroleum. They're like faux petroleum jellies now, but they're weird still. I would get that and I would mix On Guard in the whole big tub, and I would get a Q-tip and line my whole nostril before I go into a hospital or fly in an airplane. And this was definitely one of the best things I ever did in terms of not getting, I used to get sick all the time on airplanes. And after I started doing that, I didn't. So doing the CorrectX is it can be a little intense for most people, not most people, some people. So depending, I was being broad for the general public and saying right here at the base of the nostrils. What's a little bit better is if you get it on your pinky and get it into your nose and at the base. Don't go all the way up your nose. That will hurt a little bit. I've done that. It's okay. It's just, smarts your eyes a little bit. But I definitely do the inside of the base of my nostril. You can make your own, but what's so great about CorrectX is that it's a jojoba oil base. So I love that. And what's more than just, we've used our Flumes or our On Guard rollers, and you can do that in your nostril and down, and that's the coconut oil. That's going to absorb fairly quickly though. So what's different about the petroleum jelly or than CorrectX, which I think is a better version, is that it's staying for hours. It's in a thick, solution, and it's not absorbing quickly. So that barrier method is staying for a couple hours in your nose. That's the difference.
Okay, I got 2 more questions for you if you're ready.
Okay.
One, a protocol for anxiety and depression. So if people are dealing more with the emotional side of all of this, and then also any contraindications for taking oils internally with medications.
Well, that's a big question. I just have 2 questions. Right.
I'm gonna jump in and say the adaptive capsules have been really powerful for people, and fear is a really big deal because it weakens our immune system. So depressions and anxieties, we could actually almost bump that to as important as supporting our immune system during this time. So I love the adaptive capsules for this. I would say that my top 3 oil choices would be the adaptive. So hard to make it only 3, but Peace is really, really powerful right now for people. And also Serenity. And I am going to tell you, those rollers are still available for Balance too. So we can still get the Peace, Serenity, and Balance. Oh no, it's Balance, Serenity, and Hillcrysum, which is also another really brilliant oil to have in the touch blends. So that's a really good tip right now that I think they're not showing up for as many people. The Serenity soft gels are also really great. Also, diffusing your citrus oils, friend. Don't underestimate the simplicity of diffusing lemon, lime, bergamot, grapefruit, all the citrus oils, and drinking them in your water like we started off the call. You would probably want to do that through, if you become symptomatic, you would probably want to continue to drink your citrus oils through that time. That's also going to help boost your mood. But also breathing exercises like Ariana started us off with. Getting off the news and watching our overconsumption of the news is really important. Reaching out and staying connected. So we're having more of these calls, right? We're going to continue to have these calls. I know it's a lot of information and we're trying to get you as much as possible, but we'll be back again on Friday at 4. Next week is again as well, the same times. So there's so many options in our oils. I'm sure, Josie, you have some other things to say about it, so I'll pause.
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate, I love the double dipping on stuff. So the remembrance that one of our best oils for depression and heaviness and anxiety is Melissa, right? It's one of the main oils in Elevation blend. So that's that twofer. As we're protecting ourselves with Melissa during the day, and then when you're doing the Melissa, to add in your favorite citrus oil, right there, you're covering a lot of bases together. I would say with, again, an oil that is incredibly helpful for our immune system, that we want to be taking, and our lungs, which is copaiba. And copaiba is incredible for anxiety. So just using your Melissa and your copaiba and a citrus oil right there, that's covering so many bases. And yeah, on your shopping list, part of it's like, well, what should I buy? And part of it's seeing like, does it cover more than one thing? And copaiba is working with anxiety. It is incredible for our immune system support, and it's one of the main oils that we're going to think about for phlegm and for our lungs. If everyone, we'll put it on the resource page, but we did a presentation last year called Taming the Tiger, and the trifecta: frankincense, copaiba, and Siberian fir. That is going to be very helpful for the phases of the phlegm in the lungs and the whole way through. So it's one, I think we're going to talk about tea recipes on Friday. Those are the base of, I can tell you right now, we'll do it again on Friday for taking in a gel cap and a tea recipe, and then adding in peppermint. Ariana mentioned spearmint as an alternative to some of the more intense oils, and I would second that with the lungs as also Siberian fir. And so you sort of see Siberian fir becoming an important oil along with that copaiba, and hopefully everyone already has frankincense. Will Wan told us his tea recipe right now for more the beginning of the scratchy throat and the cough is different. So that I just want to say I went in that double dip of the copaiba, but that's kind of a later on tea recipe. The initial tea recipe and to be working with the throat would be lavender, melaleuca, and Siberian fir, and a little bit of local honey, right? You put the oils in a little drop, a teaspoon of your local honey, and then you add the warmer hot water.
I just wanted to add really quickly to, I know that we're out of time, but COVID-19, I got this from a doctor, is a relatively fragile virus and will die in temperatures above 134 degrees Fahrenheit in sunlight and in high humidity. So just a reminder of that, steams and the teas to help kill that virus too. It's just a nice thing to know.
Can I also add something? I wanted to touch just for a moment on the adaptive line. Because stress and anxiety is high, the adaptive capsule is a really powerful thing to use situationally. So if you're finding that you're experiencing a lot of stress and anxiety, trying one cap in the morning can be extremely helpful, or you can use it situationally. If you're having a really hard day and your emotions are amplified, you can take it as needed. It's also wonderful to take at night before bed. If you're having a hard time sleeping, I like to take it with my Serenity soft gels. And then you can apply the adaptive roller throughout the day and or alternate it in your diffuser to really just help the stress levels of the entire home. If you are on pharmaceuticals for depression, anxiety already, it is safe to use the adaptive caps with that, and you can also use it for breakthrough anxiety. So we've seen some really powerful results with this product, and so I just wanted to touch on that a little bit more if you are having that heightened anxiety and stress right now.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the next portion of our call. Thank you, Dr. Josie. Thank you, Dr. Dana. I'm really excited for every week because we're going to build upon everything that we're learning. So do please come back every week with your questions, your follow-up questions. And just a reminder that each and every one of you has a wellness advocate that introduced you to doTERRA. So if you're leaving this call with more questions now than you had when you came on the call, set up an appointment with your wellness advocate and dive into those questions. We're now going to bring Haley Jones. Where's Haley? A lot of you were asking, and Aisha, it'd be great if when Haley comes, you can make her the speaker view so we all can see her. A lot of you were asking, how do I make a capsule for taking internally? And Haley's also going to show you when you would take oil without the capsule. So Haley, where are you?
I am right here.
Are you all seeing the speaker view?
No.
Okay, you might all each have to adjust that in the top of your box. Just hit speaker view, and then you'll see Miss Haley. Hi, Haley.
Here I am. Hello, everybody. I am like the bomb queen. This is what I call it, bombing. And I feel like it's so important, like everybody's talking about making bombs. So this isn't a terrorist talk. We're actually just making some health stuff. So what I like to think about when I'm considering whether I'm going to take an essential oil, whether it's sublingually, in the mouth, orally, or if I'm going to take it internally, these are the two distinguishing things that I think about. When I'm thinking about in the mouth, under the tongue, roof of the mouth, think like anything from like this part of your body up. So when you press an essential oil to the roof of your mouth, it goes straight to your nervous system. So it's like an immediate effect. When you put an essential oil under your tongue, for instance, it goes straight into the bloodstream. And it's super fast when you put it under your tongue because it doesn't have to go into your digestive system and through the liver to be metabolized. So it's like a really fast acting thing. So when I think about something I'm feeling in my throat, like that tickle Josie was talking about, or if I feel like I'm struggling with like a respiratory thing in my face or anything mood, because everything that's mood related usually is like manifesting in your brain, right? So your limbic system. So that's where I would consider putting essential oils under my tongue or to the roof of my mouth, trying to get that whole area taken care of. Now, when I think about internally, so that could be in a capsule, or if I'm going to take a shot of water, I think like total body support. So 70% of your immune system is in your gut, right? So this is a great place for immune support. If you're struggling with inflammation in your body, I'm definitely putting it in a capsule, making bombs. And like Josie said, frequent doses, frequent small daily doses throughout the day. So I am like, you guys, I'm like a religious bomber. Like every 20 minutes if I have to, every hour, I'm like on that sucker. Like I'm not gonna let it get me, no way. So I'm gonna show you how to make a capsule. So I don't know if you guys have these, but if you're not familiar with them, they're called veggie capsules. And they come in a bottle of like 160 for like $5. So you can just add them to your account. But when you get these, they look, I have one right here. I'm gonna make one right in front of you guys. So they look like this. They're just little empty veggie capsules. So you open it up. Some of these essential oils are more viscous than other ones. So some of them you like, I'm sure any of you have experienced this, you tilt the bottle too fast and like 900 drops come out. And then some you like hang upside down forever in a day and like half a drop comes out. So I always start with like, just kind of go halfway and let it drop. So the recipe that I'm gonna do for myself right now is the one Josie was talking about, Flume. So the Fluma minus the A, right? So we're gonna start with frankincense. And I'm gonna do 2 drops of each. So I'm gonna just let it hang out. If you let them go too fast when you get to oregano, you're gonna regret it. So take your time. So real quick so you guys can see it. I'm pretty good at this, so you won't be here forever. So we've got going to oregano next. Sometimes when I get it on the outside, I definitely know it. And I do want to comment, some people's stomachs might be a little bit more sensitive than others. So if you feel like you're burping a lot of these essential oils or they're sensitive in your stomach, you can actually take coconut oil and just top the rest of your capsule off with coconut oil when you swallow it. Or if you have a recipe or protocol that calls for like 15 oils and it's like gonna max out your capsule so you can't really fit any coconut oil in there, I'll split it into 2 and then fill the rest of each of them with coconut oil. And then you just swallow it. So you can do that as often as needed, like Josie recommended. Definitely different time periods depending on how experienced you are. And then the oil that I would recommend for under your tongue currently is one that Dr. Hill has been talking about using frequently, and it's either grapefruit or tangerine, whichever one you have. So like Erin had mentioned, it helps your body produce more glutathione. So this is a really great antioxidant in your body. But also tangerine specifically, it helps support your lymphatic system. So it'll help flush out any harmful microorganisms in your body and help that drainage so that it by default is boosting your immune system. So I hope that that is helpful and that all of you will go bomb every dang hour right now, especially when you're going out into the world, before you go out, after you go out. Yeah, Erin, is there anything else you want me to add to that?
That's great. Thank you so much, Haley. And just a couple of tips for everybody. Bury this with food, then you won't get the burp ups. Why not to take the bomb straight under your tongue? Those oils are hot. The capsule kind of protects you from that. But yes, we hope you make the flu bomb. and use it and take it. And I have watched Haley fly in right off the plane, about to get sick. She sits down, she starts bombing, and by the next day I see her and she is like, I'm fine, everything's great. So the flu bomb in combination with the infectious disease protocol would be a wonderful heavy hitter if you're starting to feel something happening. Haley, you're not using any carrier oil in that, right? It was just straight oil.
I did not use any carrier oil, but I don't tend to have any stomach sensitivities. And so I also was just going to mention, if you guys carry this with you constantly, it's something you can do like in your car. We'll like line up our oil bottles on the dash, like Erin's saying, on a plane table. I have had the experience where I was getting sick with a group of my friends on a road trip. So we all at a gas station, like flipped up the tailgate of the car and we're making these bombs on the back. And this woman was like, I don't know if you guys know, but there's a cop over there. And so she totally thought we were like doing drugs out of the back of our car. So bomb everywhere you can. And sometimes people will warn you that there's police out there. It's a fun thing.
Thank you so much, Haley. Okay, we're coming to the end of our call, but we have one more guest speaker, Tiffin Krager-Bryant. Where are you? Tiffin.
I'm here.
You're here. So if you can find Tiffin, you'll be able to see her, but otherwise just click speaker view and you'll see beautiful Tiffin with her doggy paintings in the background.
That's Sammy.
So Tiffin and I, we laugh a lot. We laugh a lot. And sometimes we laugh a lot about the funny things you can do with essential oils that you don't want to do. So this section is called Essential Oil Bloopers. And hopefully through laughter, Tiffin is going to teach you a few tips and tricks to watch out for in your essential oil use. Take it away, Tiffin.
Okay, so today it's a little bit of a story, but it's just one of those things where I don't know how many of you, like raise your hands, how many of you organize by color your oils? I organize them by color, right? And like by shapes. But I know some people on my team are like, oh, we can never find your oils when we're at your house. They alphabetize them. All right, so I say that because I'm also not a morning person. And I recently had to go to the doctor, the heart doctor. And so it was the week before leadership, this was sort of floating around that this virus was becoming really big. And I had friends in Italy and I was like, ooh, okay. So I was like, okay, I'm going to the doctor. It's early, really early. It was 9, but that was so early for me. So we're there. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to grab my hand sanitizer. Here we go. So I'm at the desk and I pull this out. I don't even think about it. And I just spray. Yeah, so TerraShield, not a hand sanitizer, but it does look like a hand sanitizer. So here I am at the doctor's office, like, I'm gonna be totally safe. Like, no one's getting anything. I am not kidding you. And so how many of you spray a little bit? Do you spray like 4 or 5 pumps? Yeah, do you spray 4 or 5 pumps on the counter? Let me tell you how much oil comes out of a TerraShield when you are spraying a doctor's office counter. I am sitting there, now I'm mortified. I have the bag, I have the file, so all of my medical files soaked in oil. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, oh my God. So at this point, 3 of the people like that are checking me in, now they're all looking. Even the ones far away, they're like, she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm quick on my feet. I'm like, I am protecting my energetic boundaries. That's what I'm doing. And she goes, do you need some Kleenex for that? Yeah. So here I am now, her and I, Kleenex, right? Because it's everywhere. And I'm like, well, just so you know, we're all safe. I feel safe. And there won't be any bugs for a good 6 months. And so then I take out my hand sanitizer. She's like, what are you spraying now? I'm like, well, now that it's all safe and I'm energetically safe, now I'm just going to clean my hands. Just saying.
So the moral of the story is, read your bottle before you use it.
Public service.
Read your bottle before you use it, and make sure you have the right cap on the top, because that's another mistake that happens. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Tiffin, for giving us that essential oil blooper. Okay, before we close up, I want to remind you of a couple of things. We're going to be back here on Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Standard Time, and we hope you join us again. The content's not going to be the same. I'm sure we'll answer some of the same questions, but bring your friends and bring your questions. The other reminder I wanted to give you is we talked about a lot of oils today. We talked about protocols. We referenced a few webinars. So after the call, if you go to essentialwellness.life or you go to hellovisionary.life, you will find not only the information to get back on this call on Friday, but we will have a resource page for you. So we're going to list out webinars we talked about, and I am going to create a wish list for you. If you were to collect every product we talked about on the call, I want to make sure you know what those products are. And of course, point out the, as Josie calls them, twofers, or I call it a double hitter. Yes.
I just want to let everybody know that we are actively working on getting the website ready, and it might not be ready till tomorrow morning. So you can go to the website, but all the resources will be up hopefully by tomorrow.
Thank you. Lastly, if you do not have these doTERRA essential oils in your life, just one little bit of clarity, the things we're talking about, this is only for use with doTERRA. If you go and buy essential oils at your natural food market or you find them online, we cannot guarantee those oils are pure or safe. So we are talking about doTERRA essential oils only. And many of us get our essential oils at wholesale prices. So if you're not getting your oils at wholesale prices, talk to the person who invited you to this webinar and say, hey, hook me up, please. We have all, or most of the enrollment kits are 20% off for the last week of March. So it's also a great time to get started if you've not gotten started either. I also want you to know that if finances are a concern, and if you're looking for a way to subsidize the price of your family's healthcare, doTERRA has an incredible rebate program, and you can earn money back on your products by sharing products with your friends and family. So if that interests you, please talk to the person who invited you as well. Many of us on this call, we get our essential oils and our supplements absolutely free because we have simply shared with a few friends and family. And I tell you that is a gift, and it makes me feel safe in these times. I consider these essential oils and these supplements as important as food and water, and I want everyone to have access to them. We love this community so much, and so grateful to everyone who contributed to the call and for all of you who spent your afternoon with us. Please stay safe and stay healthy these next couple of days, and we will see you again on Friday. Bye, everyone.